Well, but see, selling cars, like I said, the first time I made 6 figures ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was during the good days. Like we're talking 3 years ago, I bought the camera when it was like,
Yeah.
you know, a million customers coming in. You know, I could sell, because basically if you hit 13 cars, you get bonus. So I was selling on average
13 cards a month.
a month. So I was selling on average 13 to 15, 16 cars a month.
Okay.
So the bonus alone was like $2-3 grand
Mm.
on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So that was every month too.
Yeah.
Problem is when you're not used to making money like that, you think it's gonna keep coming.
Hmm.
You think it's gonna be like that year after year, but it's like, it's funny because when you're not used to making money, and you finally start making money, it's like, then you spend it because it's like, I never had this before.
Very
Now
true.
I know, like, in the future, when that money starts coming in, I have to create systems to where it's automatically taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
This gets deposited to this account for savings. This
Yep.
gets deposited for investing. This gets deposited for all the expenses and bills.
Mm.
Because it's like, it's one of those things, especially like if you come from more poor or low income situations,
Yeah.
it doesn't get taught because we're barely surviving. We're scraping by.
Very true.
So we don't have that luxury to be like, okay, how does money grow? How does money, multiply? But I mean, if you look at other, like for example, Floyd Mayweather, yeah, he's almost a billionaire or nearly but roughly a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But as he was coming up, he had some Jewish friends that taught him how to invest his money.
Mm.
So instead of spending your money on all this, I mean, he still does.
He still does flaunt and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's like he probably only does that with like 5% of his money. But he's really buying businesses and investing. So, all right, let me buy a business. Now that business is making me money every month or every week. Or I put it in stocks, and every month I get or every quarter I get a dividend.
Yeah.
And then they take that dividend and they put it back into the stock or put it back into the business.
Yeah.
And then over years, you just keep your money just grows. You treat it like a tax. Like I don't even question it. It automatically goes. You know.
Yep.
That's how people, smart people. That's how they do it.
Yeah, I have me and Cam have a good
401k.
a good couple that we're friends with. Huh?
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have a good couple that we're friends with, and they actually have 2 properties. Well, they technically have 3 because they have their own, and then they're renting out 2 properties.
Yep.
But he's gonna come by this week to talk some business because he wants to grow. He wants to grow and get more stuff, and I like to be into that. I like to be able to work like that to make some generational wealth.
Yeah.
So he's actually gonna come by this week, and we're gonna sit down in the basement and have a nice man-to-man conversation about a couple of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's important conversations, and I need to be on that myself. You know, right now I'm just basically trying to survive.
But you're starting a new career and everything too. You know. It's gonna take you some time to get.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna through this I'm gonna fall into what I'm meant to do, which is fitness and in that avenue, and then really just blow it up from there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, sometimes the hardest thing is finding out what your not career but your mission is. You know. Because it's like a lot of times we grow up and it's like you find a job and then you work the job, but it's like, is that really what you want to do? You know.
And it usually isn't, which is very sad. You see that people they work their job for 30, 40 years, and then finally when they retire, that's when they start living their life, shouldn't be like that.
Right.
You should be living your life, obviously during the younger years, but sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you can't afford to do that.
Yeah. No, that's very true. I think a lot of people unfortunately can't really do the work they want to do.
Yeah.
And I say work not as in like a job, but work in terms of like, it doesn't feel like work. They can do it all day, every day.
It's the best.
Make money doing what they love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think what's happened now is that, so America's kind of, I guess, history is like, after World War I and World War II, we became the superpower of the world. But leading into those things was like the Industrial Revolution, where basically these companies, we had so much innovation and advancements into these companies, we really blew up, our economy blew up.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're transitioning more into the information age, where it's not like, all right, selling Nikes or selling iPhones. I mean, it is to a degree, but the iPhone itself with all the apps, Facebook, Google, information is really what's driving money now. Because Google and Facebook, I mean, they're really just selling. Because I mean, how does Google make billions of dollars? They just sell advertisements.
Yep.
Same thing with Facebook. It's like they get your information. So you have an account, you put your school, graduation, friends, all this stuff. There's all that information.
Yeah.
But the way they make money is they say, oh, well, this person has this like because he liked this post.
Mm-hmm.
So they sell that information to advertisers, and the advertisers advertise you stuff. So that's how they make their money. So that information is gold for companies because then they can spend their dollars more efficiently and get people to buy stuff because they advertise to the right person, that rather just spending millions of dollars and whoever sees it on TV, hopefully they buy.
Got you.
Same, you know, I mean, that's kind of really how, that's really what's driving, is really what's big business now, you know. But the point is I'm getting to is that because it's the information age, now it's like, it's really about, it's kind of weird because there's so much noise in the world, like in terms of like, oh, some people say do this, some people say do that, do this, do that. But it's
There's
like,
noise everywhere.
it's like,
Yeah.
how do you find out what
What's
works for you?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, what works for you, but how you find out like what's true and what's false,
Yeah.
and what's right, what's wrong. There's so much noise everywhere.
Right.
You're in school, there's noise. You go to work, there's noise. Your family's noise. It's really crazy. Noise is everywhere.
Yeah, and sometimes the noise is so loud you can't even hear like your true, you know, what's calling to you or what your true purpose or your true mission, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm realizing more and more, it's like people are starting their own companies.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are just sitting at home working on their laptop making millions of dollars.
Yep.
And it's like, instead of working for a business, become a business. It's harder said than done, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I mean, it's funny because there's this guy, Fight Tips, right? So this guy has, I think, 3 million YouTube followers.
Yep.
And I think he's only had a couple fights. So it's like, how does he have 3 million? It's like, but the
Social
problem
media.
is, huh?
His social
On
media.
social media,
His
on
following.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's like, he just made a business. He made a following, right? He's just, how to do a jab, how to do a roundhouse kick. And because he loves doing like martial arts and whatever, he's been making videos for so long that he built the following, and now he's good.
Yep.
3 million followers. I mean, you're a millionaire
Yeah.
if you do it right, because then you take the following and then you can like sell merchandise, hoodies. You can sell your own courses. Hey,
Yep.
$50, take my course. I teach you the secrets of kickboxing, whatever. If 10% of the people do that, 300,000
Yep.
buy the course. That's millions of dollars right there.
Mm-hmm.
So people are doing that. They do it with Instagram. I'm a personal trainer.
Yep.
Here's my training routine. Here you see this happy customer, and then you record them doing this guy's great. I lost 50 pounds. Over and over and over again, you gain credibility.
Mm-hmm.
You become an authority figure, and then people trust you. Then you get a following. And then again, even if you sell 10% of your followings, I don't know if you have 50 or 100,000 people.
Right.
That's 5 or 10,000 people. You sell them a $50 course, $100 course.
Yeah,
That's $1,000 coming every month.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not. Even though you have 100,000 followers,
Yeah.
not everyone's gonna follow you like that.
Very true.
Maybe the 10 or 5% are the hardcore fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like learning these things, and it's like, I think it's time to, you know what? Instead of struggling doing the same thing over and over, it's time to like have an owner's mindset, not like a slave mindset. You know, because the slave mindset is like, oh, what can master do for me?
Yeah.
You know, what can the government do for me? What can the white man do for me? Because that's like, instead of asking permission, it's like, because it's funny because when you learn about Black history, right? Obviously, we had the atrocities of slavery, Jim Crow, things like that. But even during Jim Crow, because we couldn't associate with whites, blacks were doing excellent. Not excellent in the sense of the justice in this country, but excellent in the sense of like, you had all black-owned businesses, black lawyers, you had black politicians, you had all these services that were black-owned, black families, black excellence. That's what that comes from. You see the thing of what is that massacre? 1920s.
When
Tulsi,
they burned down all the black businesses
in the 1920s in the South.
Yeah.
But the thing that was so shocking about that was that,
That wasn't the Tulsa massacre, right?
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. This is crazy. But yeah, but it could be that or something else. The Tulsi massacre. It could be that one. But basically, blacks were doing so excellent that whites. I don't know if I'm using the right words because I have to refresh on it. But basically, like whites were like wanting to slow us down, stop us, stunt us, and because that was the economic powerhouse at the time, they destroyed that area. So it just goes to show you, like, even when you're under such oppression, even when you're under such like, you know, you're confined. If you still have an owner's mind and do for yourself, do for your people, you can do well, you know. But now, I mean, we have legally at least all the freedoms. right? We have all the equal rights as whites, but it's like, why are our numbers declining? Why are we more poor? Why is fatherlessness higher than ever?
Hmm.
And it's like, again, it comes down to the propaganda, the mind group think, which is like, oh, it's the white man's fault. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's like, no, we have to remember, like, we are capable, like we're able to like take control of our life,
Hmm.
and instead of like blaming outside sources, we have to start within.
But when it comes down to that, it comes down to that's the
Realizing that, because of course you're not taught that. You know what I mean? Of course.
yes, but it's the generational curse.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. If you have no fathers, you have no wealth,
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
no starting point, then you're like 50 steps behind. Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
And you can't. Absolutely, you're right. You can't ignore that at all. But the thing is because you're 50 steps behind, it's so hard. People just give up, have no hope,
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
and it's understandable why you see these cycles that repeat over and over again, right? Jail, father in jail, right? It's just this constant cycle because it's like they have no hope.
Yep.
What can you do? You
Yeah.
know. But the thing is, it's like again, it's like it just kind of comes down to easier said than done, of course. But you know, what are you willing to do? So obviously, we're not in that extreme situation. But I look at like if blacks were doing excellent in the times of segregation, in times of Jim Crow, we got to come together instead of, killing each other and robbing each other and selling drugs and destroying our own communities.
Yeah.
But again, that's the propaganda that's been put on us, making us. It's kind of like the hopelessness is obviously the toxic situation makes it kind of hard to like say I need to survive. I got to sell drugs. I got to do what I can. I got to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
So it's hard to just be like, all right, I'm just gonna do good. But anyways, I think I'm going off on a side tangent there. But no, brother. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's funny because even before Caitlyn came out and we paused, yeah, we were on a roll, man. And I think I can see the value in therapy because there's things about your past that were traumatic that if it doesn't get like looked at, if it doesn't get fixed, you can't really move on from it. So even there's a few examples that you brought up. Not that it was a weight off, but it's like how many other guys out there have these things that are hidden and like they don't ever observe it and try to like move on from it or fix it or just even acknowledge it.
A lot of men don't, and it's kind of sad. I got a bunch of friends now that sometimes you just know, and it's like this guy can use a hug. You know what I'm saying? And I was at work the other day, and one of the guys walked by me. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm good." And I said, "You doing all right?" He like looked at me. He's like, "Why you say it like that?" I was like, "Say it like what?" He goes, "Why you say? Well, I don't know. Like, does anybody know?" I'm like, "Anybody know what? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just looking at you, and it looked like you need to get something off your chest. So you doing all right?" And he's like, "Man, thank you for asking that." He's like, I'm all right." I said, "Okay. I said, I'm here if you need to talk." He like walked away and he turned back around and looked at me again. He's like, seriously? I said, "Yeah, I told you. Seriously, you want to talk? I'm here." "Oh man, I really appreciate that." I said, "Yeah, no problem." So every time I see my work, I look at him. I'm like, "You good?" He's like, "I'm all right today." I said, "Thanks." But even that, like, I do kind of know him. Like, we do talk about some stuff at work, but even just saying that, like, just coming out and saying that, he's just like stopped in his tracks because he's not used to a person coming to him saying, "Hey, how do you feel today? How are you? No, not what you have going on. How are you? How's your mental today?" A lot of people can't answer that question. Say, "How's my mental?" Whoa. Did I sit back and think and go, "Man, how's my mental?" But no, like you said, a lot of men don't have that outlet to express that.
It's kind of crazy because when you were saying this, I actually felt something with that. It's true because how many times do we walk by? How are you doing? "Oh, I'm doing good," and you just carry on your day.
Every time.
So we're just saying it as a knee-jerk reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not actually listening to the question. How are you doing today? "Oh shit, me and my wife had an argument this morning," or, my kids were up late last night and I'm tired and
Yeah.
behind on rent, whatever problem a person's going
Mm-hmm.
through. It's like obviously it's personal, so sometimes it's hard to like reveal those things. But yeah, people don't really ever talk about how they're really doing.
Hmm.
And then when you actually said that to him, and he was shocked. It was kind of like, oh, he actually genuinely wants to know how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like he's not looking for the knee jerk reaction,
Yeah.
just a default response.
Mhm. That's why sometimes I change it to how's your mental, because that makes you think more, right? Just going, hey, how you doing today?
Hmm.
Everyone says the same thing. Oh, I'm good. I'm like, all right, cool. And then sometimes you go, oh, how's your mental today? Like, my mental, man, wow. And it makes them think, oh man, well I did wake up, I was a little tired, but sometimes people don't answer those questions because they don't know if you're gonna care or not.
Right.
That's another thing.
Or they're too embarrassed to share.
They could be,
It
but
could
I'm
be
saying, but
embarrassing.
even friends, like I have friends that you can just tell like this is how it is. Like, oh, you're not gonna care anyways. I'm like, no, tell me. Oh, you're actually gonna listen? Yeah, I'm gonna listen. And then when you actually say what you have to say to me, now I'm gonna respond to you in a very harsh way. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna be like it's not just easy like, oh yeah, my day was cool. It's like, all right. Well, my day was because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that, and I'm gonna give you my feedback, but it's gonna be a real feedback. It's not gonna be me, I'm not toeing the line, I'm not being nice to you. I'm telling you how I really feel. But a lot of people don't do that. It's like I said, it's tough, you know, especially when men don't have that outlet to do that too, because you don't want to tell your wife that. You want to tell your wife how you really feel. You know what I'm saying? Because you said that man power, that hard exterior, that men are usually men usually have to take that. I'm the strong man. I want to be the man in the family. I can't. I want you to show my. I want you. I want to cry in front of my kids. I want to be strong and let them know what a big man is. It doesn't work all the time. Like when I was going through this therapy, um, this therapy stuff. When I broke down, I ended up going in the room, and my kids were there. They were both on their tablets, and I remember sitting on the bed. I just got both of them together and just put them next to me. And I wasn't gonna try cry. That wasn't my intention. I just wanted to hold them. And when I started holding them, I just started losing it. And then like Carter's just like looking at me. Carter's my son. Carly's my daughter, and they're both just like holding me. And that right there was just like a kind of like a relief. Like man, like I was able to show them who I am by letting that out, and not like going in the room and crying. You know what I'm saying? Not going somewhere else or going in the basement to cry. I was like literally with my own kids, and I just let it out, and it actually felt really nice because I don't think they've ever seen me cry before, so it was really good to let that out. And my wife obviously she's seen me cry, a couple of times, but that's still like at a breaking point. That is on a regular basis. We all need to cry sometimes. Like when I was going through this therapy um, this therapy stuff. When I broke down, I ended up going in the room, and my kids were there. They were both on their tablets, and I remember sitting on the bed. I just got both of them together and just put them next to me. And I wasn't gonna try cry. That wasn't my intention. I just wanted to hold them. And when I started holding them, I just started losing it. And then like Carter's just like looking at me. Carter's my son. Carly's my daughter, and they're both just like holding me. And that right there was just like a kind of like a relief. Like man, like I was able to show them who I am by letting that out, and not like going in the room and crying. You know what I'm saying? Not going somewhere else or going in the basement to cry. I was like literally with my own kids, and I just let it out, and it actually felt really nice because I don't think they've ever seen me cry before, so it was really good to let that out. And my wife obviously she's seen me cry, a couple of times, but that's still like at a breaking point. Not just on a regular basis. We all need to cry sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. I mean, and again, he's not saying cry every 5 seconds like like a child.
Yeah.
But when you do cry, the few times you cry, it just shows how serious the moment is, right? The seriousness of the matter. And I think what's funny because when you're saying that, my initial reaction was like, the knee-jerk reaction was kind of what I just said. The critique, like, oh, we can't show vulnerability. But it's funny because this relates to a story I heard recently, which is not recently, but Superman, I guess in the 70s or 80s, was dying in popularity. And the reason why is because he was so powerful, he was like juggling planets. So what they did was they
Mhm.
introduced a weakness,
Yep.
kryptonite.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden, Superman blew up again. So it just goes to show you that people relate to, right? There has to be something that we relate to another individual. And
Mhm.
that vulnerability is very important. Again, it doesn't mean shove it down your throat, be a baby, right? But that true, genuine like moment of vulnerability is
Mhm.
important, because it shows you're human, Um, no, so I definitely agree. I think the thing too is like sometimes, I think within us men, maybe like we need to have more of these conversations in terms of like the vulnerable aspect of
Yep.
being a man because our wives can't relate to the male experience
Mhm.
and understanding like our duty and like why we have to be like stoic in a sense or
Yep.
like we have to be in control because if she sees us crying every 5 seconds
Mhm.
then where's her sense of security?
Yeah.
Like damn, if this
Yeah.
motherfucker is crying like a bitch then
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I mean,
you know what I mean?
it's true. But like I said, the times I did cry was seriousness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I
You just go,
remember.
yeah.
I remember my old house. I remember my old house. I was downstairs in the basement. I was drinking. I was downstairs in the basement. I was drinking because Nana was dying. I remember she was dying, so I was downstairs drinking. But then once I started drinking, now my mind's going to, my grandfather Ali that passed away, my cousin Little Man that passed away, Peebo that passed away. My mind just starts going down all my cousins and stuff, and
Going dark.
yeah, exactly, going dark. And then I remember, I think my mom called me and she's like, "Yeah, she passed," and I was like, oh. Dad didn't know either. So I had to go upstairs. I'm walking out, and I see Caitlin, and I say, I gotta go. And she's like, where are you gonna go? I say, I gotta go see my dad. My grandmother just passed away. And then she's like, oh no. And she came up to me, gave me a hug, and I'm just crying in her arms. Like, but even that, men sometimes don't even want to do that. They'd rather go in the car and cry, you know? So that vulnerability is good too, because now she knows that, I can trust her in those certain moments. It ain't gonna be all the time. But when I do cry, it is something serious, you
Yeah,
know?
it's a very serious moment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I yeah, definitely remember that. But even now, holding her, crying, and my daughter remembers that time. She was just on the couch. I'm pretty sure my son was a baby, but she remembers that time. Oh yeah, I only saw Dad cry one time. That's when his nana passed away. I was like, why you say it all like that? But
Well, it's because
because she's a
for her,
kid,
yeah,
exactly.
because for
But
her, it's like, oh, daddy, I do remember one time you did
yeah, yeah,
cry.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I think this is good stuff because you mentioned how your friend, you could tell that he was hurting,
Hmm?
and when you generally asked how he was doing, he could tell he doesn't have anyone to talk to. He doesn't have anyone to share these things with.
Hmm?
So I guess this is very important in the sense that like maybe people listening to this can like feel like, oh man, maybe I don't have a close friend I can share with. Because remember, there's gonna be some guys that they can seem like they're your friend, but as soon as you give up a secret, as soon as you share or you're vulnerable,
Hmm?
they're not a true friend. They're gonna stab you in the back, or
Yep.
they're gonna use it against you. So if you do have a close friend, a brother, someone that you know that has your back, I think it's important to try to reach out to them and try to like connect, and that could be your person to like, hey man, how you doing? What's going on? Because it's hard. Right, only another male can understand the male experience. You
Hmm?
know what I mean? And I think it's important to also like be with people who understand you and kind of have not 100% exact upbringing, but who understand where you're coming from,
Hmm?
so that way they can, if they're gonna offer advice, it comes from like a sincere place.
Yep.
Um, no, but I think that's important. I actually like what we're doing because even for me, it's like I'm just doing my thing throughout the week, the usual routine, work, home with the kids, training, and it's like there are moments where it's like it's like, hey, I just want to relax. I want to like have a moment to myself and just like even just sitting here in the backyard. We got the birds in the background. Not to get a homo here, but like you got the birds in the background.
No Diddy.
There's no Diddy. Yeah, there's what I'm saying. There's like it's just a peaceful, nice day, and it's nice to sit here with my brother who can like, hey, remember when this happened? Oh, I don't remember, because you actually been through those times with me. You know what I mean? And there's no one else that I lived through those times with. So it's like, oh yeah, that did it. So you're bringing these other points and these other angles, these other aspects. And I think that's important as men because we can share that with each other. Like, hey, if you have this going through in your life or your marriage or this or that, especially if another man is in a similar situation or has a similar life experience, they can point things out to you and give you true advice. 'Cause sometimes, yeah, your wife, she's looking at it through the female experience. She's not going to really understand where you're coming from. Not always, but yeah, in terms of the relatability aspect, you know.
And it's different too as being black men.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Oh my God, yeah,
That's a whole
because
nother freaking ball game right
yeah,
there.
because what we've been through, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's that is true.
But even
As,
people's perception of us.
well, as black men who are trying to like correct a lot of generational bullshit, you know,
Yeah.
generational trauma, because there's trauma in the black community that
Mhm.
like we're fighting against as well, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I even me walking the grocery store, I'm walking by a person with a cart that has their purse on. When I walk by, I put my closest arm I put behind my back.
You put what behind your back?
The closest arm to the carriage. I go like this,
Mm-hmm.
go behind my back, just in case there's anything. Hey, you see on camera, my arm is back here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just certain things like that just being a black man, like you're just looking at everything. Or, you know, if I'm in the grocery store and I see a person going to go read something, but they grab their purse and then go reach it and then put their purse back. And in my mind, I'm like, why wouldn't you just move your cart closer to just grab it and put it down? But no, instead of that, you're putting the cart here. You're grabbing your purse to hold on to your purse, and you're gonna go grab this and then put it back. And it's like, huh? Like, did she do that because of me,
Yeah.
or did something happen to her before? Is it trauma from her doing that before, or from walking down the street and I see a guy? Do I have to wave to make sure? Hey, I'm the good guy. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. I just hate sometimes. But it's it is what it is. I'm black.
Yeah.
I can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I see those things sometimes too. It sucks. I mean, it is what it is. You know.
It does. Especially when you're on your P's and Q's though. I'm always watching. Like that's one thing I kind of hate, but then it's actually a good thing. But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
always alert.
yeah, I guess I'm like that too. In a lot of certain things, like I'm always like observant. I'm always
Yeah.
like just reading the room, reading
Yeah,
the
oh, yeah.
situation. Yeah, and you notice shit. You know, you notice things.
Yeah,
You know.
all the time.
I mean, me, it's funny because like there can be initial impression based on her prejudices or whatever, or their
Yeah.
prejudices.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can be charming and win people over too, and then you can make
Yeah.
them feel guilty for thinking that.
Exactly.
You know, so that's
Yeah.
how I look at it. As like, you know what?
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
Yeah.
some people will be ignorant. Some people will
Mhm.
be, whatever. But
No, just kill them with kindness.
yeah,
That's it. God bless you. Have a good day.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. Put my head down. It's like, all right, cool. That's great. Awesome. But I don't have time for that in my life right now. What did
I'll be doing
Oh,
that.
gotta leave in like 5 minutes. There was a rapper. He said being mad at somebody is letting them live in your head rent free.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that saying. I don't remember who it was though.
And it makes so much sense.
Yeah, don't like this person, especially if they're a stranger. Don't give them that luxury.
Yeah.
Especially like, why would a stranger have that much power over you?
Yeah. But even not even a stranger, just let it be. It's not even worth it, man. It
Yeah.
really isn't. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing too. It's like I gotta focus. Like I think people should focus on if they're not hitting their goals and not hitting their things, then don't suck mental energy towards trivial things. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
But I'll change the topic real quick. What's your favorite Kanye West album?
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
What's your favorite and what do you think's the best?
I don't know. I really don't know.
man,
The only reason why is because there's some songs that like are amazing, but they're only on this album.
I
And
know.
there's some albums that have like a group of amazing songs. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like if I only have to like one album, it's like, I mean, it's just tough because you got the classics. The first album. College Dropout was amazing. Late Registration, it's like,
Mhm.
and then you got like Graduations. And then you got 808s and Heartbreaks, and then it's just like, and what's the next one? The
My
recover.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah, Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's got
Mm.
this amazing album right there. Um, Life of Pablo. I mean, all these
Mm-hmm.
albums are fire.
There's
I
a
mean, I don't
Pablo too.
know.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's like I look at it like this too because it's like you can say the same thing about Michael Jackson.
No,
which
I
is
can't
that-
do that.
You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
different.
but at the same time, I mean, Michael Jackson is a bigger example because you can see the evolution of the artist. You can see the evolution of
Yeah.
his style, his music, his dancing. So it's like, I think to a degree you can see that with Kanye. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's evolving, he's changing. I mean, he's expressing what he's going through in that time or that era of his life.
It's very
So,
true.
because here's the thing, we could say one album's the great now, but then 3 albums later, that could change. The order shifts again.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, but as of right now, I don't know. I would have to like listen through all of them. And, like,
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
That's
I mean, if I would
crazy.
just say off the top of my head,
Because your favorite and the best are different. So I have my
Wait.
favorite.
are you talking about what? So what are you asking? What's my
both.
personal favorite?
I'm asking both. Because my favorite is Graduation. But I think his best album, his best complete album, is probably my Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I would almost agree with that. Yeah.
But my favorite album, I mean, I love 808s too. 808s is right there. But Graduation just puts me back at a time. Like, Graduation is my joint.
You know, it's funny. I would have said that too. But I mean, even like Yeezus is a fire album too.
Oh, I love Yeezus. Oh, come on, man. Yeezus is slept on still.
Yeah, it's like
Still people
there's
hate that.
some-
Man,
there's
that
some-
album
there's
is
some bangers on that
crazy,
album.
dog.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, only reason why, because even the newer Kanye stuff, like a lot of people have kind of shifted. You know, he's an anti-Semite and this, but he says a lot of true shit. You know, he says a
Oh,
lot-
yeah, he still makes great music. I'm just saying his overall body of work,
yeah. I mean,
like Graduation, is definitely
because the thing is like there's a lot of controversy with him right now. You
Yeah.
know, and especially like the last year when the whole thing when he said about Jews and stuff.
mhm.
But you know what's funny about even
But even Donda,
yeah,
Donda
Donda's nice.
was
There's
amazing.
Some bangers on that one.
yeah.
Because here's the thing about Kanye too is like, remember he's like a type that's like he just goes off. He just says
Mhm.
how he feels and expresses
Yeah.
himself.
There's
Right?
no
So, like-
there's no filter at all.
So like, sometimes people can take a certain stance with that, but it's funny. Like, let's look at the politics right now, right? You got Israel bombing Gaza. They killed 30,000 people,
hmm
and not that again. What started that whole situation? They got attacked. I get it. You have to defend yourself.
Yep.
But now people are saying, "Wow, Israel is these guys are pretty savage."
They are.
So, if they're doing that with lives,
Mhm.
I guess it's their enemy, whatever. And plus, I get it's war too. Imagine the business world;
Mhm.
they're gonna be savage as well. And it's
Yep,
like it's true. They do own a lot of the record labels. They own a lot of the sports teams,
Mhm.
NBA, NFL teams. So
Yep.
when he did mention those things, like look at the contracts of a lot of the black actors and
Mhm.
black artists.
Yeah.
You know, these contracts are taking advantage of black people. And it's
Mhm.
like maybe he could have took it too far, but at the same time, if all the people are Jews who are doing these things to his people, to our people,
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't he have a valid claim? I mean,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, again, you can say things about black people,
Mhm.
no one says anything, but as
Mhm.
soon as you say anything about Jews, all of a sudden,
Yep.
there's
Yep.
consequences.
Yeah. It's
you know?
crazy.
So, I don't know.
All right, we gotta wrap this up too.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I think like some of the top Kanye albums. I mean, definitely Graduation is there. I like Late Registration as well. That's just a
Oh
classic.
yeah, no, yeah, me too.
I mean, even his first one is
Mhm.
that's just nostalgic. You know,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
that
yeah.
time was like,
hmm
um,
I mean, we can always come back to this.
yeah, we gotta come back to. I gotta listen to them because like, I know when I hear some song, then it's gonna really put me in a certain vibe. But
Mm-hmm.
he's got some bangers. I mean, it's tough, bro. It's tough. My favorite album of all time for Kanye, man.
Well, folks, there you have it. Oh, it's died.
Well, we got it on here. It's all good. But yeah, that's it. That's it. So until next episode of Art and Zoe. Yeah. Thanks for staying tuned, and we'll keep it going next one.
Peace out, people.